Thanks for purchasing DTV iRemote. This application will allow you to control your DirecTV receiver with your iPhone, iPod, or iPad device. Let's cover the basics before we get started. What you're going to need on your end: a DirecTV receiver connected to your local area network. Models include the H21, HR20, and newer receivers. Whole home service isn't necessary, but a receiver connected to the network is. So please make sure your DirecTV receiver has a network connection, and always check for the compatibility further down in the video. An iPhone, iPod, or iPad is also necessary, and also that device needs to be connected to the same network as your DirecTV receiver. First, we want to set up our DirecTV receiver. So grab your remote, your original remote with your DirecTV receiver, and let's go to it first. Get to a TV where you can see the guide as we go through the steps. We can also go through these steps to make sure our receiver is compatible before we purchase DTV iRemote. Enable access by an external device. First, we want to navigate to that part of the menu. Parental faves and setups down at the bottom. Go to System Setup. And now we're going to go down to Whole Home. Nope, too far. Go back up. Now let's go down to External Device. And here you'll notice that you have three items to select from. You've got External Access, Current Program, and Recordings. Mine are set to allow, and you'll want yours set to allow as well. To change them, highlight the entry, hit select, and then toggle back and forth, as you see here, until you hit allow, and then hit select again to confirm your settings. Do that for all three: External Access, Current Program, and Recordings. Now let's go back to look at our IP address. Toggle up to Network Setup, and I'm just hitting the back button to get to the back menu, so it'd be the left arrow key. And you want to go to Advanced Setup. Click on Advanced Setup, and it'll just take a few minutes for it to go out and retrieve and also confirm that you've got access to the internet. And while it's doing this, it might be a good idea right now to go get a piece of paper, because you need to write these settings down. These are the same settings that we're going to go and enter into your iPhone or iPad or iPod. So the IP address, mine is 192.168.1.174. And the subnet mask makes a difference because that'll determine whether they're on the same network. You'll need that for troubleshooting, or if you decide to send me an email for technical support or a phone call, but not needed for your iPhone device. You just need the IP address out of this. So once you write that down, we're all done here. If you have an address in there that's starting with a 169.254, and then it'll have a dot something, that indicates that you have a private IP address. And nothing says you can't have it, but typically that gets self-assigned when there's not a router out there assigning IP addresses. And unless your iPhone has a 169.254 address, your iPhone and your DirecTV receiver will never talk to each other. Again, call if you have any issues, or visit my website, or send me an email and let me know what the issue is, because typically this is the piece that never talks. All you need is the IP address. So we're done with that piece of it. So now let's pick up our iPhone, and I'm going to just go full screen on the DirecTV menu now. And I'm going to bring up my DirecTV remote. And when I first start it up, it's going to come up and say connection error. It wants me to enter a receiver name. It also has a try again mode, and that's typically if it didn't have time to connect to a device. Once you've already entered the IP address and it's up and working. And you've also got a run in demo mode, and you can run this thing in demo mode just to get a look and feel of how all the buttons and everything interact, but it sends no signal out of the device. So let's go to change receiver settings. I've got a temporary one set in here as living room. You can either go into it, click on the right blue arrow, and you can enter details here. You can change it if you want to change the receiver name, or if you want to change the IP address. And here's where you could just go back and enter your receiver name there and your IP address. Now the other piece of it is, let me go to next here, and I'll just hit done because I can't really see that piece of it. But you see the port, it's 8080. That port will always be 8080, 8080, unless you're trying to do some port forwarding on your router. And that's typically for some of the more advanced network gurus out there. But 8080 is always the internal address of your IP receiver on the local network. So you won't have to change that. All you need is this IP address. It would take us a moment here to make sure that we've got that address correct. A lot of times there'll be a leading or trailing space, 0 character, or a mistyped IP address. This has been about 75% of the issues getting people up and working is getting this IP address entered correctly. I am working on an IP address validation in the next available fix, so it will try to keep some of those typos out. It won't flag you if you have an IP address that works on the network but still isn't the correct one, but it will keep you from misentering an IP address. So once you get that set and you've made all the changes you want to do, you can go back through settings. You want to highlight the living room or whatever other receiver, and we'll go through that real quick. If I decided to just add one, I'd click on the plus sign, and I'd come in here and I can just add DIN. I can go to next, and I can go back, and I'll just enter 175 and then click next, and I'm going to be done. I'm going to save that, and you can see the DIN shows up down here, and if I went over to the blue, you see the settings there, so you can modify or add at this point. I'm just interested in the living room at this point. That's the one we worked on, that's the one we set up. So I should be connected. Let's go to receiver, and you see it working, and lo and behold, I've got living room, and now I've got one of my local channels set, and now if I go to enter one, and I'll just put in the DirecTV information channel, and it pops up for me. Likewise, if I did the channel 100 and then hit enter, it'll take me to channel 100, another DirecTV channel. So you can see you can have direct entry off of the keypad once you have it working. And if you decide it's one of your favorite channels, in the upper right, you can add favorite channels. And it'll query you in case you accidentally hit it, do you really want to add channel 100 to your favorites? I'm going to say OK at this point. And then if I go to the bottom tab bar and click on favorites, you can see DirecTV channel 100 is there. And as you toggle on these, they'll change the channels for you. And you can see my channels changing. Same if I go to another, and you'll see the channels. If we go back to the main page again, you can see that it's changing here. It's got a little icon and just normal functions of your usual remote with a custom style. If we go over to the control, you've got some of the navigation controls here. And again, same thing. If you bring up the guide, you can bring up the guide and go down, go up, and we'll just go down and up, and I'm just going to exit out of that. And likewise, if you go to the transport page, you can see that you've got similar functions there. You can pause, you can play the action, and you can advance back to the first part of that. So that's it. That's the basics of the DTV iRemote. Look forward to your purchase and look forward to any questions that I may be able to help you with. And again, thanks for purchasing, and I hope you enjoy the app.